Hey, saltwater anglers, and welcome to the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report, your local report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This podcast is part of the Great Days Outdoors Network, and each week we'll be talking to local experts to learn ways we can become better anglers in our pursuits offshore, nearshore, and inshore. To keep this amazing fishery healthy and thriving for generations to come, remember to protect what you pursue. Summer fishing is fired up with warm water and hungry fish moving into the bay. So let's hear who's making the show possible, and then we'll jump into the reports. Boaters know the unexpected can happen. That's why Seatow offers 24/7 on-water assistance with priority service for members. Whether it's a dead battery, running out of fuel, engine trouble, or needing a tow, Seatow's fleet is ready to help. Membership includes unlimited towing in your home area with no distance or dollar limits, fuel delivery, jump starts, and more. Plus, members receive exclusive discounts on fuel, electronics, dockage, boat insurance, and other boating essentials. With over 500 ports nationwide, Seatow has you covered wherever you boat. Join today at seatow.com/Great Days. Seatow, your road service at sea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's show. It's been some hard-hitting action out there with tournaments, Cobia tournaments, Tuna tournaments, all kinds of stuff. But when in doubt, go back to Old Faithful, whether that's your fishing tackle or one of your favorite podcast guests. So welcome to the show, Captain Bill Pappas, Playing Hooky Charters. How we doing, Cap?
Welcome aboard Playing Hooky Charters, man. How are you, Luke?
I'm doing good, man. I'm braced for this hot 4th of July weekend. It is looking like record heat index, record feels like temps. I want to say I'm getting excited to go fishing, but it's making me a little nervous. It's hot.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, everyone's like, you worried about the heat? And I was like, you know what? 75 miles out there, it's not that bad. It's just really
That is
not.
true.
It's just not. I mean, that 75-degree water, light breeze, it puts it down to like 72. I call it free AC. That's
And
right.
there's no humidity out there either, is there?
I don't know. In the morning we get all that in the beginning when we first take off, but it's a lot different. You feel that heat wave when you get about 5 to 10, 6 miles out. You're just like, there it is, wham, and it hits you, and you're just like, muggy.
Yeah, on the
So,
way back in, you can like almost taste land. It's like you can taste, smell, and feel it's like all of a sudden you run into a hairdryer or something.
speaking of run into, dude, I got some crazy stories for you this week, guys. I don't know if you
Hit me
got
with it. Hit me with it. Tell me
everybody.
what happened.
All right. I got a few things to clear up out there, guys, and I hope some of y'all listen to the podcast and pop it over to your buddies who are popping their mouth off a little extra for no reason. All right. So recently, last Sunday, it was his only Sunday right before the tournament with 4 offshores lined up in a row. After that, and this is during a three offshore stretch in a row for Playing Hooky. We were out on a Saturday morning. We were heading east with maybe 10 to 15, 20, 40 boats out of Rudy Inlet. And it was a great day for tuna fishing as it turned out. But on the ride out, we had an incident. And this incident is something we've been working on for a while. It's a few things we've mentioned here in the past, the way we felt about the windmills and the project itself, whether, just in general and stuff like that. Well, when it comes to our safety, we have not been impressed with the job they've done. We feel personally, and we want everybody to know that there's a little chart on the bottom. It says whales. They got about 10 or 15, 20. The dolphin little chart, like a football chart when you get hits. There's about
Okay.
30 dolphins on the bottom. And then right underneath that, guys, there's 4 boats. You know what I mean? That's how many boats they've taken out this year, probably. And that's how many boats they can afford to kill and keep these projects going, guys. And I mean that. I'm not here to dog the windmills. I'm here to tear them apart, guys. I'm over it, man. They almost killed us in my crew the other day. Can you guys imagine calling on your radio on channel 16 saying, hey, can I get between you and the beach? And nobody replies. Hey, well, then you say, you don't say it like that either. You say just like this. You say, good morning, this is fishing vessel Playing Hooky. We are 1 mile off of Croton. We are calling the windmill cable vessel, the cable laying vessel off of Rudy Inlet. We have a lot of boats heading out here to the south this morning, and we were wondering if we can head to the south or how far we have to come off the beach. Are we able, and I said clear as day, are we able to go between you and the beach? Work vessel. And the work vessel doesn't answer. Channel 16 safety station. This isn't the first time. We got plenty of recordings of it, them not answering. But this is the time after we've called and talked to Ron Larson, the liaison, and he's going to get everything straightened out after we keep calling out the buoys. The rule is call out which buoys aren't lit, and we'll help you. That's the rule. Not we'll go fix it or find our buoys that aren't lit. No, you tell
Hold
us.
on. So they're leaving.
They're leaving unlit stuff out there. Okay, this has been going on for years.
Wow.
All right, now
Wow.
look,
Okay.
now look. You picture a giant $1 billion vessel. Now they got a half mile in every direction. They've got these anchor buoys. Now these plastic anchor buoys, they are the size of a blue recycling trash can. Okay,
Okay.
square,
Yep.
huge squares with ropes and all that crap hanging from them and the chain going down to the bottom so they can throw out a huge cable all the way to this anchor to hold this boat. So they got them all out. Now, throughout the last 2 or 3 years, we've went out there and they have not been lit. They have not been lit. You're getting closer. You're on a line. You got waves. You got charter guests. 6 different times have we almost hit something unlit out there that you don't see on radar, that you don't see on with lights at all. And after you finally tell them that you almost died these many times, you say, which, and they say, well, where were they? We'll try to get them lit and type of deal. They're supposed to be lit. All right, they're supposed to be lit. They tell us. And then someone said they don't even have to be lit on one of the vessels one day back to us after they came at us one day. So
Really?
we've had a bunch of issues with these windmill boats. We personally have. We feel like they're in our home area. They're in haste to make a lot of money really quick, and they don't really care about the boats in the area. They don't monitor. They didn't figure out the station to monitor until like 2.5 years into it. Where the first year they knew it was 79, and then yup, they just forget it was, and they don't have any way of calling us when you're getting near the stuff. Now here's the problem. They end up having a workboat near the Rudy Inlet area for a good while because I see it every day. I know their positions. I know the moves. I know where they space them out. I know which ones aren't lit. I know how many aren't lit. And I
Hmm.
call them in. I talk to Ron about it all the time. They're going to do something about it. That's what we keep getting told and all that type of stuff. And when it comes to it, guys, I hate to take any more time up, but I will tell you this. They had this metal can out there sitting there, and they literally had the audacity to tell us that the reason it wasn't lit in the winter is because the days were too short in the winter and it wasn't getting enough light. So you're telling me you have a $2 billion ships out there, you've got this huge $1 trillion project, and you don't know that the days get shorter in December than they do in the summer? Are you telling me that? And
Oh,
no,
so in other
uh,
words, not enough
yeah,
daylight to
not enough
provide the
daylight. Are you kidding?
solar power for it to run overnight.
So, okay, this has been going on, and I feel like I'm not just a person; I'm a liaison for the whole area as well. He's the public liaison to talk between us, but I'm the guy who talks to the charters. I'm the guy who does the podcast. I'm the guy who cares about this area and goes to the meetings and fights for us. So when
Right.
if something does happen to anybody besides me already, then
Yeah.
for sure I'm gonna feel terrible. Well, something happened to us, guys, and that's the problem. Is something happened to us? Can we get through you and the beach? They finally come back and they say yes. They say yes. They say you should be fine. You should be fine to go through. Yeah, yes, you should be fine. Yeah, you should be fine. All muffled as a champ. But I say, hey, your transmission wasn't the clearest, but I just want to double check that these yellow things, I'm going to be able to go between you and the beach. Yeah, you should be fine. We got Russ Costinas on my left. They got David right on my left, and we're all going to the same place. But I slowly veer away just to make some space. I take my right, and I got all these areas marked for where they've been working.
Right.
And now the last thing I'll say is they had this $1 billion, one of these nice big ships. This wasn't a $1 billion one, but they had one of their giant ships out there cable stretching, and they had these buoys all laid by them. And every time they'd move the ship, they'd move the buoys. Every time. So far, this whole time, they've been moving the ships, moving the buoys. But this time they got lazy and left all the buoys. Oh, we'll just leave them all in there, all staggered around, kind of in a line, kind of not, up to 2 miles off the beach. Some days you can go through them. The other days you go through them with your charter and they steam right at you and flick you off. And you got to tell the liaison. And they say, yeah, they were doing some surveys and they thought. And I was like, dude, we went through it that morning. They got to call us on our station. They don't come up and flick my charter off, you know?
Right.
So I've had issues, you know what I mean? Back and forth. And then here happens. I asked twice on the radio. I get clearance 2 times on the radio, which is recorded by the Coast Guard. And I will be Freedom of Information acting. And they said, yeah, you're good to go. And at 28 miles an hour, with radar on, zoomed all the way, looking out of the bow, boom, we hit something full blast. Boof. I hit something so hard. Mayday, mayday, mayday. I hit this, boom, boom, hits the back too. They said they saw sparks come flying off the back. Mayday, mayday, mayday. I get on the radio. I was like, mayday, mayday, playing hooky in this position. We just hit an object. We just hit an object. I'm like, then they're trying to say, what do we hit? Everybody turns around and there's buoys just sitting right there. 3 of them in a big mess of a pile, not lit, none of them. One of them's like a foot underwater, the lights flashing, and the other ones are not lit at all. We got it all on video. This is the great how because they covered it up that day. They moved everything around, then they shuffled it around the next day, and they put a boat on station. And what do you know? There's a boat on station. Imagine that on a weekend. You get clearance to
Mm.
go through full blast, and then boom. So we get a knock, and I'm like, oh, that bang. First thing you think is I just cracked the hull of my boat. Whenever I hit
Right.
that hard that fast, we are going down. I instantly swing the boat to the south. I'm going back to the barn. And I get on the radio and go, why did you tell me we could go through there? He's like, I didn't know. I'm 6 miles off the beach, and makes a bunch of excuses. I said, get off my radio. I'm calling the Coast Guard. I'm not arguing with you anymore. Like, I'm not going to have it back and forth with you, bro. And I get on the
Right.
Coast Guard. They're going to do this and do that. They want to know our positions and this and that. I said, stand by. I want to assess the situation. So I send Russ down to the bow, and of course, there's a half inch of water in the boat, and I stick my finger in it, and it's salt mixed with not, and I just know I'm like, uh-oh, but I don't. I keep composure. He freaks out a little bit, but I just know what I kind of know. I was like, we got to do this. This is what we have to do. Okay, we don't even have the motors in gear yet because we don't know if they even work or busted up yet. So we literally, I get him to get a pail and a bucket with a sponge, and we get all the water out of that boat in the front, and then I get a rag and I wipe it bone dry, clean, where it's like you could lead off it, and then we
Right.
wait, and then
Oh,
we
up in
wait,
the
and then
front
yeah,
where you
right where
made
we saw the
impact.
water,
Got it. Yeah.
where we saw the water. Well, just where we saw water,
Yeah.
and we had water, and then after it dries, maybe 5 minutes or even 3 to 5 minutes, there's no water coming in here. It's bone dry. We're good. We're solid. I go to the bilge in the back, bone dry, looking good. Okay, I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know, somehow the Seahawk ate it. So then I go to
I
the
was gonna say,
motors.
shout out Seahawk
Yeah,
29. Boom,
Seahawk
boom.
29. I got some videos for y'all to post and some pictures,
Yeah.
guys. We ate this thing, and then my crew is completely just shattered. They're thinking we're calling our families that day. We're swimming from 2 miles and getting everybody stopped.
Right.
What they're doing to come to us and mayday us up.
Mm.
And the motors, I put them in gear. They both ended up running, and I put one in gear, and they both sound fine. The props are good, and I have a trip with people that are paying to go fishing that we have a business to conduct.
Right.
They're out there doing the work in our area. Not only are they going to hurt somebody who's not out there all the time, but they hurt somebody who needs it. So I continued on, went fishing. I for 2 hours I couldn't fish. I literally couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I was just in a zombie mode, and I saw some dolphins went on the bow. Kind of hung out with them for a minute and got my composure and picked up my lines,
Yeah.
bring them in, guys, and I ran to the north and just gunned it to the north, and I put them over with some fellas and got a fish on, and then went to a little further past them, and then we got covered up again and got enough fish to go home, and everybody was so happy. It was a trip of a lifetime, epic stuff. And talked to the Coast Guard after, and between you and I. The Coast Guard it wasn't very quick at it. The detective wasn't any $75,000 of damage or casualty, so that was it for them, and referred me to the Waterways Division, referred me to them, and they said they would call me on Monday. They were reaching out to me Monday. Well, nobody did. I had a 4 days in a row offshore, couldn't talk to them,
Hmm.
and tournament weekend, all that other stuff. And I called them Monday, and they finally like, oh yeah, I thought we were waiting on you to send us an email or some kind of this and that. I'm like, to who? Who am I emailing? He hasn't even talked to me yet at all. So that wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't very comforting that for a $25 permit, I can get a $2,000 fine from not having this zone out of 17 out of 19 permits or whatever. I get this, but you got these billion-dollar companies out here can almost kill people, and it takes me weeks to get in charge of somebody to say, hey, light up the buoys, light them
Right.
up. Here's what they're not doing. Here's reports of it. Here's texts, emails, tons of correspondence. Back and forth, trying to save us to begin with, and that's what we went through. So, anybody who thinks we faked it that day and faking hitting the buoy, we didn't. Anybody who heard us get hailed in and stuff like that, we're good. Everything's
Yeah.
fine. We were lucky to have some great guys taking up with us, talking with us, keeping in touch with us. David Wright, Castro out there. There was a lot of guys out there caring about us, and they would not be like to be in a most similar situation. They're very upset because they've been tired of seeing these buoys unlit. How can you work somewhere and leave a buoy on the water unlit? How can you do that consciously, morally? How can you do it? I don't
Yeah.
know how they can do it.
It's like my worst nightmare. I mean, the few times that I've gone offshore, especially in the wintertime and left early in the morning where you're driving in the dark by radar, it is, and I think anybody that's done it can relate. It's butt puckering, anxiety until that sun cracks and comes up. Like driving by instrument only is terrifying. And you rely on lights on buoys. I mean, even when you see another boat and you see their anchor light or their navigation lights, you're still terrified until you really are confident of what your position is to them and what direction they're going. So the fear of hitting an unknown object has always been there for me. So I can't imagine what it would have been like for you guys to have that smack and that shudder
Well,
in the
the
boat.
hardest
I mean,
the hardest
that's
part is that, oh my
so
God,
scary.
we've been worrying about it and worrying about it. We've already been worrying about it. That's the worst part. That's why I called twice and double check we could go through.
Right. Right.
So all that's got to get brought back and brought up, and all that stuff's got to get done. And honestly, and whatever fines they deserve, because they deserve them. They whatever they deserve. You know who means that? My mate, the other guy on this boat named another boat name. I'm not going to mention it here, but he's hit a buoy and had some propeller rudder damage and other things when there's unlit stuff. And we've come up on him countless times. We've even had a drone boat T-bone us at the mills, dude. T-bone us at
Oh,
probably
I've seen those
the green
unmanned.
one is a green unmanned boat came to T-bone us, and we were like, "There's no way he's gonna circle all the way around from this far away and come right at us. He's gonna turn. He's gonna do anything. These are remote controlled by people." And guess what? Nope, he came right at us, right directly at us, and I had to literally yell at my
Move out of the
charter
way.
no, yell at my charter, reel him up as we gunned it away from this thing because I could not believe it was going to T-bone us. I was sitting there, I went away from it on purpose, picked bases too far, 2, 3 away from it, but nope, it had to circle all the way back around, drive by us,
Right to you.
circle us, go around us, and then line up on a T-bone position perfectly and then come at us full, at speed. Nobody driving a boat, man. We didn't see that thing after that, after we called to the Coast Guard. We complained about that. And once again, the Coast Guard was supposed to call us and follow up, and they did not. I
I
just don't
know,
get
I
it. I
know
just
from,
don't get
I
it.
know from, I know from my own personal experience, calling the Coast Guard to report an incident that, um, they've shared with me that they're uh, not as well resourced um, as other branches of the government, and I don't know if that was
They were on
specific
that.
to.
I know they were understaffed. You're correct. They were. They even admitted it many times. They were understaffed, and
Yeah,
so are the agencies. But nowadays they've got plenty of recruits, and they're jamming out inspections and jumping on boats all winter long. And they've got
yeah,
they've got a surplus with the current United States. So that's
got it,
just
got
So I think that now they're starting to do better stuff, and I'm all for the Coast Guard guys. Let me just tell you, I support them, and I do all that kind of stuff and throw in my funds that I work really hard for to support them, and I do anything I can on the water for anybody. So that's
it. Yeah,
that's the end of the windmill story for now. I'd like to say more. I have to say more. I got more to say, but I'm gonna wait till we have to, to settle these things out and figure out what we're gonna do here from this
yeah.
point because there's a lot to do. I actually. There's David Wright and there's other people who want me to go to the news and do other things so I can protect anglers, so I can let people know and to call them out on their bad practice. It's just
Well, and
it's
I
one
want to,
thing to
I want
try to
to
save
get,
things, but
yeah,
go
and I
ahead.
want to get the safety nugget for our listeners. So just so I can understand, so you're talking about the cable laying boats. Talk us through the exact like position. Like if I were to be leaving Rudy or
Oh yeah, I love that's very important.
Coming around Cape
Yeah.
Henry, where do I need to be looking? Where do I need to be watching out? And if
Oh, that's very important. Good
I'm a
question.
recreational angler who's not regularly out there, like what is the danger zone area that I need to be looking out for?
Okay, well here that's very important. So right off of Croatan, there's where they're stretching the cables. They like to work real tight on the beach there, and they usually have a big bright boat. Now, once that big bright boat is up there, you're supposed to know that you're supposed to give that thing a half-mile clearance. They're not going to watch their radar and tell you when you're getting inside of there because there's these giant cables that stretch all the way to that boat like a giant clotheslining, tower ripping, boat shredding machine waiting in a spider web form that if you don't see their unlit buoy and you go in between that, you're doomed. They're not calling you. They're not watching you. They might be now. They're going to listen to this podcast, I guarantee. As much money's jammed up in this thing they have.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's the biggest stripper pole you've ever seen, dude. They are just the dollars are just raining down on this place every time you go by it,
I
dude.
was won- I was
They are
wondering
just
where I was.
they are
I was
just
like,
dancing in circles, bro. Just make it rain, baby. Make it rain, baby. Make it rain. They love their dough. They love that money. Never seen such fast construction. Anyway, yeah. So here's where they're located. They're going to be located another now, they have a gigantic boat almost blocking the entrance out of Rudy Inlet between the buoys and them. So if you were to leave Rudy Inlet, you'd almost have to split your course to go around that boat and you would naturally be around it. Isn't that amazing? And you look 6 charters, man. 7 charters make it now. Times 6. That's 42 people. That's 42 people with me and Russ is 44 people have almost gotten smoked by them being hasty and not caring about the community. So,
wow,
the next time, now they guess what? Now they've got all the buoys that they're not using. All the buoys they had stretched all the way out all over the place, not lit. By the way, there's only 8 of them now. They had way more than that on there, and we got video of that too. Because
wow,
it's funny actually that day that it all happened. I actually went out with a friend named Angela, and her and I went out. that evening and with her family and did some fishing and stuff. And I noticed how they were scrambling around, putting the buoys all up and checking them all that. Then, after everything that happened, they knew the Coast Guard's on their jock coming up soon, probably. And here they go. So now these buoys are currently within a 100-yard radius, not radius, line. And there's a boat on station. Since then, there's been a boat on station saying,
And what does
hey,
that mean on
that
station?
means that means there's somebody there. Now, if you come in near those, they can drive towards you to push you off it. They cut your bow.
Okay.
Or they'll do
Okay.
they don't even got to get you on the radio. They can do some wild stuff and cut you off. They've
Yeah.
done that a few times with us. I was like wondering why they're running right at my boat like that. I'm like, dude, I'm like, I got people here, I got waves here, I gotta go this direction. Like, I just don't get it. And
Yeah.
their buoys were here or
Yeah.
there. They've done some things in the past that are just, questionable. You're out there that long, you end up doing stuff for, hey, check this out. I don't know, I don't get it, but I don't think it's professional a few of the times for sure. Way, way, way beyond, and especially
That's
this last move. So yeah, they're right out there. You're gonna be able to tell now there's a boat on them. I'm done talking with Ron. It's just that's over, man. There's no that's good, man. It's not
well,
happening.
it's a it's a shame that you had to experience that. I hope that you get justice and get, compensated and taken care of for what happened. And also it's a cautionary tale just to remind everybody that, like, don't get complacent, don't get comfortable.
Uh-uh.
Always
Scared.
keep your head on a swivel when you're out there, especially when you're running early in the morning. Absolutely keep your head on a swivel because it can happen before you know it. And
Yeah, your
yeah.
tips are
So
call it in quickly.
yep.
Record your times.
Yep.
Stay calm. That's the
Yeah.
main things of this whole thing. Stay calm, assess the
Yep.
situation, and make the appropriate moves to address the situation as you return. And do the
Yeah.
professional stuff. Is do everything you need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen to somebody else. Man, I think maybe it was supposed to happen to me, so that
Yeah.
that doesn't happen to somebody. Because dude, there's people that don't know about that. This is the week before the tournament.
Yeah. And I
And
mean,
I had
any
already been
other,
dealing with it every week, every time we've been dealing with that
yeah.
already. Not lit is the
Yeah.
worst. Not lit is
Yeah.
the worst, man. So,
Absolutely.
so I hate to
Not
bring
lit,
y'all
poorly
down, but
lit.
that one got me.
No,
That one got
no,
me riled up.
it's a tough subject matter to go over because there's a lot of mixed feelings about the windmills, and obviously when you have something like that, it's the difference of when you hear about something versus when something happens to you. The feeling obviously changes dramatically.
Turn your dock into more than just a place to park your boat with Slipski's Dorado Oasis cover. Engineered for both beauty and protection, the Dorado Oasis transforms your dock into a shaded, all-weather living space, perfect for relaxing by the water or entertaining friends. Built from marine-grade aluminum and premium fabric, it also provides year-round protection from sun, rain, and debris. Whether you're lounging dockside or keeping your boat covered and ready to go, Slipski delivers comfort, convenience, and peace of mind. Slipski, think outside the boathouse. Visit slipski.com.
I do want to know, you guys have been doing a lot of fishing. Generally speaking, do you feel like the season is are we headed in a healthy direction with, like, I've seen you guys catching some Spanish mackerels, you've caught tuna, you caught a cobia on a jig, some very clear water. You guys have been laying some fish on the deck. I mean, has it been good?
Honestly, fishing's been fun. Fishing's been fishing. Some days you get them, some days you don't. The offshore bite kind of tapered off with the full moon rises. I always believe that they started to slow down a little bit when in our area anyway, when that full moon pops because they're eating at night and the squid's really
Yeah.
thick in our area and there's other baits up north or something that they're chewing on because they're still catching them just fine. And we went to the south and got sharked real good the day after the Friday of the tournament day. Well, not our tournament day. Our tournament day, we had a 300 to 500 pound blue marlin. We bait and switched. Me and Russ got our first bait and switch ever.
Oh,
That was awesome. Like it came up and lit up on our teaser, about ripped the outrigger off the thing. And I was like, Russ, get ready. And he dropped back down the flat line to him. I said, ready now. We switched. It went for it.
boom.
Nope, didn't come tight on the first one. Came back, didn't rail the rigger again. I got him all worked up and frisky on the rigger again. And then and then Russ, I was like, Russ, because I was watching the whole thing. I pulled it in front of him. Then right when he bit, you got to pretty much drop it like whatever he bit died. He turned, grabbed it, spool, tightened up, woo, and we're on.
Oh,
So it was
dude, that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, we had a blue, and we didn't end up getting it all the way to the boat. We had when we were in a tournament, man. You don't want to fight a blue anyway for an hour. So we were
No,
happy to watch him, do his thing, do his little thing,
jump a little.
and see you later, bud. And then we found a bait ball popping, and we circled that and got a white marlin. We had a white marlin come bang our bait. We saw him come swooping out. I was like, this just wasn't our day for the tunas.
So,
But you know what?
so
It
I
wasn't
was gonna say
everybody's.
any non-tuna tournament day, that would have been an epic day of fishing to get
Yeah,
two billfish in the same.
yeah, I know, I
But
know.
no,
We
and
weren't that
I do
upset.
want to ask a question. You said when you went south, you got sharked. I'm curious, what's in your mind, what's the difference between down south, meaning like you head out and you go towards like the
They
ledge and more
they live
south
there.
towards like versus up? Is it just that's their home? That's where the sharks hang out?
I've seen the sharks get all the way up in the Norfolk 2 years ago. Me and Bolts were in there fishing pretty
Really?
good. The sharks were chewing up our gear pretty well. It was a
So
dark, overcast day, but we were catching them good.
that's just tricky to know that like certain parts, you because I know like Bolts, they had a really nice
Oh
big
yeah,
guy
that's
that got,
South Fishing.
bitten. Yeah, that's so bizarre. I mean, I get it. It's just is what it is. But and that's the frustrating thing. There's nothing you can do about it. Shark wants to eat it. It's going to eat it.
Yeah, we had two. Oh man, you get used to catching some fish where you're at, and over the weeks you get used to catching and hooking up and stay moving and getting three, four, five hooked up, and you're like, all right, let's stop. Well, I had two hook up the other day. I kept going around these one pile of tunas I kept seeing on the surface. It was weird. I never seen them like that, but I finally got two hooked up, and I guess greedy. I kept moving and stretched those out, and I didn't get no more bites, so I stopped, and we got the guys battling away. We didn't have our gear cleared. I couldn't have backed up or done anything different. But within about 5 more minutes of them both, working these fish, kicking their butts, probably 10 minutes, man, they both wham and sharked and just they shake and go nuts and run, and then you can just feel them there,
Ah,
boop, and then you come back 400. They I think they figured out how to eat some of the tuna and then bite in front of the line or something to get the rest to come off. And I mean, they ate two of them clean. So
oh,
yeah, and I think those sharks live. They're just so used to being in the south and eating up all the fish because they won't regulate the sharks right, or let them just go out there and smoke them so we can get our fish. I mean, you got to imagine if we're catching fish and they're catching fish. Unfortunately, we got kind of got to mess the things up that are eating our what we like to eat. Because if not, we're taking some and they're taking some, and it's just not going to work out
yeah,
with numbers over the years. You're going to add up. You got to be less of them so we can have more, or we can have ours.
yeah,
Because if not, they're going to live. They live there, and they're going to keep multiplying and getting more and more, and we're going to take. We're both going to be hitting the same source. So I don't. It just doesn't make sense.
right.
I think they honestly, a lot of these regulations and things are just to make us feel like a stoplight and just sitting there when they could have all the technology to let us go through and when nobody's else at the intersection, just to bury you down a little extra. Anyway,
Well,
you're
one of the things that's interesting to me about sharks eating tunas is like tunas are super fast and they swim so like they can dart left and right. Their fins are incredible. And obviously when they're hooked up to a line, that's probably like one of the few times that they're even a possible target for a shark. So that I feel like the sharks are pretty stinking smart and they can sense those vibrations and hone in and circle around them and eventually figure out where they are. And then once they realize that they're troubled, and they're not moving that fast, it's like, oh, well, that's an easy snack for me now. But I do want to ask this question. When I look at like a water shot, meaning like the sea surface temperatures, and I typically will adjust it to be about a 10-degree spread. So like right now I'm doing like 70 degrees to 80 degrees so that I can see the kind of color gradient. When you look at a water shot like that and you can see the blue, meaning like the low 70s, and then the orangey, which is like the kind of mid 70s, and then the dark orangey red, which is like 77, 78. Where do you, as a tuna fisherman, typically, where does your eye naturally draw to and go, okay, I'd feel good if I was in this kind of area with this kind of temperature or temperature break?
It really depends on the time of year, man, and where you're going. I mean, so many years we have to do this and check it out. Look, I mean, you could just throw a generalization, but I will tell you this. In the beginning of the year in the south, you can find it. You want to be on the break right on the edge. That's just the best thing. If you can be on the temperature break on the edge of the surface, which means 600 feet. 600 feet is where basically the line is.
Yeah.
At 600 feet, it pretty much drops down to 1,000, or it goes up to 300.
Okay.
There's no 600 level. You know what I mean? There's no
Yeah.
when you get to, so that's what you want to call the edge. Call it the edge. You want to
Yeah.
go right around there. If you can get in that area between, that area, that's where the fish like to pile up. And I believe it's because the bait washes its way up there and it kind of crunches it down and makes it
Yeah.
when it's forcing its way into the warm water, and that warm water eventually shoves its way up and over the
Yeah.
edge. And then we call it blended when it blends in and everything inside becomes the same temperature. There was a couple
Yeah.
white marlins caught outside of the tower the other day. Two,
Really?
a pair, and not at the tower. They were outside of the windmills, just outside.
Okay.
Windmills only go 40 miles. So that
Okay.
was interesting to hear.
Yeah.
My buddy Rock got on those.
Interesting. And so when you think about blended water, so like as we go into July, and August, if we were to be thinking about tuna fish, what kind of water temperature or water break
Oh
would
yeah.
you look for?
Remember last year at the Fingers, we just
Yeah.
we went somewhere. We didn't go to a temperature. We weren't looking for breaks. Remember, we were looking for a spot where we caught them. We were really looking for birds and sand eels. Wherever the birds
Yeah.
and sand, or you could actually mark a little bit of the tunas on your screen and go over that ball a few times and try to get fish to bite.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then out at the canyon, you were looking for there was a little bit of a break. You're gonna find more fish on 3 degree breaks. If you can find a 3 degree break within a half-mile area, guys, that's
That's
gonna be a
it.
good spot. That's gonna
Yeah.
be a good spot.
I am curious, unlike tuna, what are the conditions in the water or birds or whatever? What are you looking for? Obviously, something floating in the water, but temperature wise for mahi, are they in the same areas as tuna or do they like something a little bit different in the water temperature?
Tuna. Good, great question. Tuna can go in green water and light green water, and they'll go in the cold. So I've seen mahi do it, and I've seen mahi in colder water, but I've seen mahi freeze up where they don't eat. They just sit there and stare at you early in the spring. I like anything once you get over 74. You can get some 73 as long as it holds in the end. You can get 73 towards the end in October. But to be honest, you want that range of 75, and up, and then just let it hold there for a while, bring in that
Okay.
blue water, and then everything you put out there, all the other the fads the pots or the buoys, and the windmills don't, guys. I don't know what it is about the yellow, but it doesn't hold the mahi like you'd think it would. You'd think they'd be piled in all
Right.
around that. Nope, they want a buoy by itself
Right.
out there when it's.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything that we wanted to cover that we haven't covered yet?
Man, you want to hear you got time for one last story? It's wild. If you
Yeah,
got
let's get
time,
it.
I'll tell it. All right, man, guys, I got a wild
Let's
story
get
for
it.
you guys. All right. This one needs a drink of water, guys. This is a good one. This is a good one. All right. It's not a good one. It's only a good one because everybody's okay and nothing happened that's too detrimental. All right. So picture this. I'm riding down the beach coming back to the north towards the jetty, and I got a fellow charter captain goes by me. We're just talking on the radio. Hi, how's everything going? And everything's cool. And we're in 17 foot of water. We're in 3 to 5. It's a choppier day blowing from the northeast. It's making it tough, but the fish are drawn onto the beach, and we're having a really good bite. So that's where we have to be. People are loving it. They're rocking around, but they're still having a great time ripping fish into the boat. I go by and we're just talking. I'm eating my steak and rice, and he said, and one of my fellow charter captains I respect a lot, one of the best out there. He's like, I lost power, stand by, and I was just like, okay. So I just kind of, I'm still trolling. We just passed each other, we're good, and you know, I figured a couple motors, this and that, just figure out what's going on. And in a few seconds, not even 20, 30 seconds later, I get the Bill comes say, come get me. And I turn around and there's a boat
Oh no.
there's a boat double the size of mine going up the beach sideways, wobbling sideways, which I already know means lost power. Going for the sand, you're about to beach your boat. Now look, here's what happens. Okay, here's what happens. I gotta tell you right off the bat when you beach a boat. If you beat your boat, you could definitely hurt you could hurt your crew, your charter. People
Right.
don't know how to swim. There's a lot of things, and the most for me and a lot of us in this thing, we work so hard for what we do. We care so much that literally that's our livelihood. That's our house going out there, and well, so
Right.
and that boat when it just a if that boat went under, it gets 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get the sand out, to get it out of there. It gets new motors, new electronics. It's done. It's a whole summer. Somebody's done,
Yeah.
and all in one
Right.
motion, all in one motion, just all in a hurry, man. So within a
Right. It
hurry,
can happen
I literally
fast.
spit my rice out of my face. I throw my fork to the left. I cut the boat over to the left. I go get him in as fast as you can, and I'm ripping it through the waves back towards him as fast as I can possibly move that speedboat. And God gave me that speedboat, speaking of God, for that moment right then. As every moment I've had, it was cool, it was great to have, but that was the moment because I gunned it. And I got Russ doing an unbelievable job of orchestrating that deck, keeping everybody straight, keeping everybody standing, getting the lines in, getting them ripped. He's got planers doing 20 miles an hour and he's power cranking them, pulling on them like he's fighting a bluefin. He's out there just ripping. I get sort of where I can see this other boat, and as it's getting sideways, I gotta admit, we're already in the spot where I wouldn't drive my boat, and I'm coming in
Yeah.
hot. And at that point, I took those ideas, chewed it up, and put it in a ball and threw it out the window. and freaking gunned it in at like James Bond and swung my ass right in. And his mate was on the bow, and his mate's huge. He's strong. He's a big guy. He's really positive. He's a really great guy. We really like him. And he's on the front, and he's nervous, but he's still confident, and he's got his chest out, and he's lassoing this rope like Indiana Jones is about to whip somebody. And he's lassoing this thing, dude. And I come in swinging in, and I'm screaming at him, "Hey!" And I'm going, "Hey, don't throw it yet! Don't throw it yet! We got to be like a 15-knot breeze." And he's throwing at me into the breeze, and I'm turning. I got my prop coming, and he wings it anyway. And he somehow, from where he was,
Got it
I
all the
thought
way.
he'd never reach me. Got it all the way to me, and I'm turning in almost over, and it's about to go on my prop when woof, the gaff hook comes flying over, and Russ gaffs and puts it, clean it up. I'm screaming, he cleats it up. Yeah, cleat theirs up. They cleat theirs up. And by the way, the last thing I forgot to tell you is, right when I saw their faces, when I got there close and said, "Don't throw the rope," the boat rolled, and I saw the bottom of the boat clean as day twice. Now, when the boat was moving towards the beach, it was lifting up and down, lifting up and down, lifting up and down. Then all of a sudden, when it did those last two, it was on the bar. And it just did its first two on the bar. So I get up on this thing. I throw the rope cleat to cleat. I don't got anywhere enough room to make this pull, man. I need way more room on this rope. But I look in the back, and the captain all his eyes are wide open. He's holding onto this anchor, trying to stern anchor, and he's getting ripped by the seas and the wind. And he just can't. And he's trying to throw a buoy, and it rips it out of his hand. And sure enough, somehow, some way, their mate and my mate get the cleats going. I'm way too tight for a pull. I get close enough where I can turn my boat. I pull around, and look, on my GPS, I made a capital D where I came in, hooked up. And as soon as I got a hold of him, I went forward, got picked up by a wave, and I pulled forward, and yoink, I went backwards. Couldn't move him. I'm 15,000 pounds, bro. I had another 1,000 pounds worth of people on the boat. He didn't budge. I'd freaking just kind of eased up again. I feel that poop, and I'm like, oh, and a wave comes. And I was like, right then, I shoved my motors down as low as I could. I trimmed them low as I could, knowing I was probably going to hit bottom. Didn't matter at that point. I was like, one more wave. We got wave, and I got just tight enough. This is all within 3-4 seconds. These waves are coming, and I push her down. I'm like, time to eat 700 Clydesdales. Now you're not horses, you're Clydesdales, boys. And I shove her in. I'm like, ugh. And his freaking bow finally over a wave turns. I get his bow to move. Second pull, I'm like, oh, and his bow comes over, and I'm like, I think I got him moving. And I start dragging. I'm dragging. I feel the bottom of him like kind of coming. I see both their faces like, and their eyes are like, oh my God. And I can see the mate on the front just like, and I'm like, oh my God. And we start just looking, and we're pulling and pulling. So I powered all the way through. I finally get, I can feel his bow twist into the waves, and I finally start to pull him forward. I finally start to get him to go, and I shoved that thing down there, and I got the 700. I'm like, I'm digging him. And honestly, you don't want to over dig or over torque, but I did. I was like, let's go. And we got him to, and I'm pulling his bow up and over, up and over. And his thing starts to rub into my motor where I'm like, oh, they're like, you're going to crack your case. So I kind of angle him to the south where I can get out of it all and just get him off at an angle. I know I'm going deeper. I've been fishing this beach all morning, and we know how the depths are. And my machine already leveled out at 3 feet. So I was already it wasn't going to read any more shallow. And even my chart, it was just 6 feet or 5 feet or something on the chart. And that's at medium tide, and we're at low. Anyway, I started to pull him out of there, pull him out. I could see his mate just being relieved. I screamed back, I was like, I love you guys. You know?
Yeah.
And then his mate makes a big heart, like, dude. And I was like, dude, like, I got you. So then we had to switch the tow because it was hitting my motor, and I had to get him on his other cleat because honestly, I was pulling his bow right into the waves, and he was getting beat, worse.
Yeah.
So I wanted to switch sides so I could pull him the other way, so he's not getting beat on my side, so I could pull him this direction. Anyway, we go to switch cleats, and the momentum created from what I had, his double the size of mine. Like, it's a big boat. I was pulling it, and it was coming at me. I knew it was coming at me from times in the past when I was on Ceto 20 years ago on boats that I used to run, or my own boats that I would get pulled in, and coming through the jetty, they'd shorten the rope, whatever, and they have a wave come surfing me down. I gotta get on the radio, move. I'm coming down a wave right out of it.
Yeah.
So they gun it. So they would gun it, and then by the time they'd gun it to get away to save their boat, we'd get whiplash. No, we'd get whiplash. Because the rope would catch, and we get slung, and then we come down a wave and get gunned again. That was another Ceto driver that probably doesn't do it anymore. Anyway, so the point of this is I knew that was going to happen and when he's coming to me. And so I feel him drifting on me. And I can tell by Russ's scream or concerned by the volume and tone how close he is. He's getting closer. He didn't go, he's getting closer. So I knew I still had a little bit of room and I didn't want to do the yoke move and lose the connection and lose anything and have to go get him again in the conditions we were in. So I kind of pulled just enough forward. We got the lines re-stretched out. I said, Russ, give him the maximum amount of line on that line, and we had a better tow, and we got all the way off to a
Sheesh.
safe. We got all the way out to a safe spot, and it was something that it just took a little bit more time, but got it going, man. It was just something they got going, but they lost power. It was just one of those things where right time, right place, and they were like, "Oh, you're this and that," and I was like, "Ah, dude, you guys would have done the same for me, man." I, the
Sheesh.
only thing cool was the move I came in with, and the fact that deep down I'm a math major and I love numbers, and I know
Yeah.
the percentages of him hitting me with that rope were insane. Great shot by the mate,
High. Yeah.
unbelievable shot by the mate. Unbelievable job by the captain getting me there just in time and keep me close and on standby. And
Yeah.
unbelievable job by one of the two best mates, Russ, just gaffing, controlling our crew, controlling the rope, watching out for our boat and our vessel. And I got everybody on the bow so that we wouldn't be. I really slung everybody up to the bow in the pilot house with me so I'd keep my motor off the sand while I yoked them out. So there's a whole bunch of
Man.
stuff going on, a whole bunch of caring and sharing, but it would, anyone would have done that if they could. And I happen to drive that boat all the time and love that boat, so I could fling that thing around like a
Yeah,
pancake.
you knew.
I could
You knew.
pancake at Denny's. I was, I was there, and he was, they're stoked, and I'm stoked. I told him he owes me though. I was like, you definitely owe me. He's like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, you owe me a big hug, bro. And I was like, and not only that, I was like, I want one too, man. I want one for me, man. Like, dude, that could have been me. So, and that could have been
Dude,
me.
I
Yeah, that could have been
know.
me a week ago. And
Yeah.
they would have came and got me. So,
Yeah.
so
I've pulled some people in. I pulled a person in during a Cobia tournament one time. Took an hour and a half out of the day, but it's one of those things where like if you know that if you were ever in that other shoe,
I've pulled
you'd
pork,
want
but I ain't never
somebody.
pulled that big a boat. That was
I
big,
know.
dude. It was
Yeah,
big,
that's
buddy. It was
well,
badass.
your boat, and my boat are made for that kind of thing. I've got the old Mako, you got the big Seahawk. I mean, these are working boats. In fact, I think the gentleman at Cito, Bart White, shout out Cito, one of our awesome ad sponsors and partners of the show. They go out and they get to pick their own boats. And he said they specifically will target older Makos for that reason because they're
Yeah,
built heavy. They can bump into pilings, they can bump into other boats and take the
yeah.
beating and keep
Yeah.
them going. But
Yeah,
man,
shout out to Byron, man, too. And honestly, that Seahawk, real quick, a shout out to them. I did take a paddle boat and we went underneath the vessel where we hit, and we felt the hemple paint actually bounced us off of it. And we actually didn't sustain any. It didn't crack any fiberglass. I ran my hands up and down where we got smacked. We still have to pull the boat and see what it did underneath. We have no
mhm,
idea yet. Where we could be checking, as we go. But
yeah,
and the motors definitely took a big scratch on the back of those.
yeah.
Thankfully the propeller and then the drivetrain's not good. But if anything would happen in the next few, we would know where it came from.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, man, I'm glad you and your crew are safe. Your guests are safe. I'm glad that the captain, mate, and crew of the boat that you guys rescued are safe. That's a lot of between the tuna fishing,
Yeah.
the blue marlin, the white marlin, the unlit buoy, and a beach rescue. You have had an exciting
What a
two
week.
weeks.
That was all 1 week, dude. That
Sheesh.
was within 7 days. Almost.
Golly.
That is
Well,
just been it's been a stretch.
if folks are listening and want to get in on the exciting life of Captain Bill aboard playing
Oh my
hooky,
God, just come catch
how
fish, guys. That's all you do is just come catch fish. We'll keep you safe. And our boat's tough, guys. It is strong.
yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
what's the best way
uh,
they can contact you to book a trip?
well, you're gonna call 757-619-3530 to try to book one that way. But we do everything online with the booking is playinghookycharters.com. And you can also find us on the socials. Bill Pappas Jr. is up there, and you got playing underscore hooky underscore charters at Instagram. We put up lots of stories. People seem to, I don't know how they do it, but they love watching it and see us all around. And my son was over there at the Mahi's valet, and they were like, how was that trip to Hawaii? And man, you guys have been doing good. When did you get the mother? Okay, and they know. He's like, man, they know everything about us, man. Like, cool. He's like,
From,
from the
that's
podcast. That's from
from
the
the
podcast.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome,
he
man.
listens to the podcast.
It's
So
it's
it's
cool
cool.
to see how that's brought the community together. I love running into folks that either listen or somebody will reach out and say, "Hey, I was listening and I heard this tip." And actually, I got to give a shout out to my buddy Mike Manning. He called me the other day and he was like, "Look, I listen religiously." He's like, "I learn something every episode." He said, "I always learn something I didn't know." Every single episode, and he's been fishing. He's been fishing for like since he was a kid. And so he's like, if I'm learning something, then I know that anybody can learn something. And I was like, man, that
Right.
really meant a lot to me to hear, because that's really one of the main purposes of this, is that we can all learn and grow together, and continue to become better anglers while also simultaneously becoming better stewards of the fishery. So, and you're a big part of that, man. So thank you for
Yeah, like,
always bringing the fun and throwing the party,
oh my
man. We
God, there's
we
some wild
appreciate
stories
you.
there. Y'all got to ride in
No
my shoes
doubt.
and feel like you were me for a minute because it was wild. And honestly, guys know, oh, I was just there. I was lucky. David Wright was like,
Yep.
hey, there's yesterday's hero. And I love David Wright, but I was like, come on, man, go ahead with that. Like, I guys, like, literally, it was cool, man. Like, it was cool now that
Yeah.
everybody's okay and everything's
You're
fine.
right.
Everything worked
Right.
out. That's why
It's
everything's good. All
yeah, it's
good.
fun to talk about it now. It's
It
just
is.
like don't celebrate till that winning fish is in the boat. But anyways, well, we look forward to keeping up with your adventures in the weeks to come. You
Yeah.
guys heard it. You can go online, plainhookycharters.com, to get booked.
Hey
And
guys, I
definitely
got one
follow him
last
on the
thing.
socials.
I got
Yeah,
one
what's
last
up?
thing I wanted to tell you guys is that we do. I don't ever say this at the end, and I probably should be. We do have individual trips. We're pretty popular for the walk-ons. We got over 1,000 people signed up to our texting service. It's not a group text, but it'll send you a text maybe once a week saying, "Hey, we've got a tuna trip for 520 including tip, or we got a sea bass trip for 300 including tip," and it'll tell you the times and the dates and all that stuff like that. And we go out there and fish hard for you guys. So if you guys want to see that too, you can also go to the website and scroll down to the walk-ons, or you can go to phc.com walk-ons / walk-ons,
Got it.
and it's going to be there for you guys to go ahead and get your individual trips. 2 of you, 3 of you, we can get you out there, guys. We're going to be doing a lot of
Beautiful.
walk-ons for July for tuna, switching over to more Mahi in August, and we're going to be doing some sea bass flounder trips. We're not really a flounder boat, but we can catch anything. Bring it on.
That's right.
Catch a
Catch
cold,
anything.
brother. I'm
Catch
just-
any fish, any buoy.
oh
Okay,
God,
we
no
won't
more
make
buoy
any more
jokes.
buoy
No
jacks.
buoy
No more
jokes.
buoy
Not too
jokes.
soon. Too soon. Too soon. Too
All right,
soon.
man. Well, hey, God
You guys take
bless.
care.
Stay safe out there, and we'll look forward to
Yep.
catching up with you real soon.
Thanks for talking to us, man. You guys take care. And don't forget, guys, get booked and get hooked.
That's right. Well, folks, that's going to wrap up a heart pounding. I don't know about you, but my heart rate got up several times listening to the stories, because I've been in those situations. I've been near those situations, and nothing will get your heart racing faster than feeling like your boat could be going down or somebody else's boat could be going down. So we thank the good Lord up above for watching out for everybody's safety over the past couple of
Yes,
weeks,
thank
and
God they were with us.
wish you guys safe weekend ahead. Please be safe over the 4th. It's going to be so hot. Make sure you have tons of water on board. Make sure that if you got respiratory or heart health issues, don't mess with it. Stay indoors, stay in the AC, go see your doctor before going out and doing anything crazy. And we'll look forward to catching up with you guys next week. We do have another segment coming up, so stay tuned for a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with you real soon.
The days of heading out and blindly looking for good fishing areas are pretty much over. Don't waste time and money on fuel searching for fish. What you need are the most recent, highest resolution images to not only know where to go, but where not to go. The knowledge provided by today's technology is critical when planning an offshore fishing trip. So make the choice that captains all up and down the East Coast make and choose Hilton's Real-Time Navigator. The easy-to-use interface and excellent customer service will have you on the fish every time you go. Check them out at hiltonsoffshore.com. This podcast is brought to you by EMS and Indeck PVC Decking. Hooks rust, lines tangle, the one that got away always does. Some things aren't meant to last. This isn't one of them. For coastal homeowners, marina and dock properties, and waterfront builders, Indeck delivers a premium finished surface without the constant upkeep. Index capped cellular PVC dock and deck boards never rot, clean up easily with soap and water, and offer strong slip resistance in wet or dry conditions. Indeck, designed for what comes next. See the full line at pages.easternmetal.com/great days.
All right, y'all. It's time to hop into another report. I'm really excited to talk to this captain because it's been a long winter since we got to speak last. I think last time we spoke, he was doing some wreck fishing. But Captain Andy Kim with Sashimi Sport Fishing. Welcome back to the show, man. Long time no chat.
What's going on, man? Yeah, it's been a long and hard winter, but glad the summer's here.
No doubt about that, man. And before we get into the fishing report, I want to congratulate you on your engagement as well as your pregnancy announcement. Obviously, your fiance's pregnant.
Yeah.
But congratulations, man. Are you stoked
I appreciate that, man.
Become a dad soon? Is it exciting?
Yeah, husband and dad soon. Good Lord.
Excellent, man.
Life is definitely lifing right now. I'm like within a week, I got engaged and found out I'm having a kid. So it's been a wild adventure that I'm super excited for, and couldn't ask for a better person to be with me. So yeah,
That's
I'm
amazing.
excited, man.
I don't know who's more excited, Jenna, your fiance, or her mom. When I met her mom at the back deck last night, the first thing before she told me her name, she told me that she was about to become your mother-in-law.
Yup. Yeah, they're awesome, man. They're awesome as can be.
That's good. Well, there's a lot of blessing that comes along with children and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a great couple years ahead. I feel like we're going to blink. We're going to be on a show in a couple of years talking about how you just taught your kid how to throw a cast net and before you could walk.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
for those who've never heard your voice before or heard the name Sashimi Sport Fishing, tell us a little bit about the boat that you run and what got you started with fishing in your early days.
Okay, so my boat's a 25 Seahawk full tower, and has a newer model Yamaha 300 on the back of it, but it's the perfect bay boat. I mean, in my opinion, a lot of the guys, they use like these short beam boats for charter vessels, and they're rocky. This one isn't. Got plenty of room on the back of it. Yeah, it's definitely a unique looking boat though. I don't think I've ever seen another boat like it. And what got me started, man.
Take us back.
What started my love of fishing, I would say my dad taking me out when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. I mean, taking me just croaker fishing. I was never like if there's a big fish on, I'm gonna get it, because my dad's like, nah, I'll fight it. But I was definitely the bait catcher on the boat. He put me to work when it came to catching croakers and spots for his flounders.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much built that from doing that to mating on boats, and then finally getting a boat when I was 19 and running my charter through that, and then building it all the way up to what it is now. I'm 28 and been doing it ever since.
That's awesome, man. And you have a passion for it, and I got to brag on you a little bit because we got the chance to go fishing together recently. We took the little Mako out to the windmills and
I wouldn't say little.
Well, when I look at some of the other boats in the marina, she feels small.
We also do live in, one of the nicer marinas in the area. I feel like it's like no surprise seeing like a 42 yellowfin come down the creek, or a Freeman, or like big sport fishers, and you're like, dang, my boat is little, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, like, where's your boat at? I'm on the little side. The little boat side.
You see that dinghy over there? That's mine.
Yeah. It's like I've joked in the past. I'm like, one day I'm gonna have a huge boat. I'm gonna name it my dinghy. But just kidding. But no, it was cool to get to fish next to you. We ran out to the windmills targeting flounder, and I think we probably caught 60, and I think you caught 46 of them. It was a cool. I say that because it was a good learning experience for me that, I did not have the same setup that you did. And B, I could tell that you had a lot more confidence with your hook sets and just knowing what the bite felt like.
It takes some learning and getting used to, especially with flounder fishing. Flounder fishing, it's not really like what you put on to get the bite. It's when to set the hook. when like knowing how to feel the bite and knowing when to set the hook with these things, because I mean they're hungry. They're not
Yeah.
they're not picky. They're gonna eat whatever that looks like or imitates a fish. And once they do, that's not the hard part. The hard part is knowing when to set the hook, because they are flat fish. Their mouths, instead of we're used to opening up and down, there's
Mm-hmm.
left to right. So it gets a
Oh,
little
that's right.
tricky.
Yeah.
Get a little tricky when it comes to setting the hook.
Yeah. I missed a lot of bites, and I would get so frustrated. I look over at you and your boat up again, and I'm just like, and we're fishing in the exact same spot. I'm like, what am I doing
Yep.
wrong?
Yeah.
And the first tip you gave me was like, hey, set the hook with authority. And
Yeah.
and then we also made some adjustments to my terminal tackle. But
Yep.
I do think it's funny. You told me a little interesting flounder statistic about how when they're little small flounder to when they grow, what happens with their eyes.
Yeah. So when they first start out, they start out like a regular fish. And then as they grow, that eyeball starts to rotate around their body. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a flounder, but it has both eyes on one side of the fish, and the other side does not have a thing. It doesn't even have color. It's just white. The other side's brown with two eyes. And yeah, it's a funny thing. Like they all start out looking the same, and then like looking like any other fish, and then the eye starts to move around like to do.
That's so weird. I mean,
Yeah.
they're obviously super cool, ambush predators in that sense, because they're
Oh,
able to
100%.
disguise themselves down into the sand and dirt.
Oh yeah.
And when you tie up a flounder rig, I watched you go through quite a few different styles of, you were swapping
Yeah.
out weights based on the current. You were adjusting how high your hook was away from your weight. But yeah, talk us through like when you're choosing a bait for a flounder, like you said, it doesn't really matter. I mean, talk us through the different baits that we used that day that you caught flounder on, and which bait in particular that you caught your biggest one on.
Oh yeah. So flounder's just like anything that's in the form of a strip. So it has to look. It just moves like in the water better, and it kind of fools them into thinking that it's like a live fish. So I was using Cobia belly. That's a good one. And then basically anything white with a strip is good.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy one we used, because I was like, I mean, screw it. We've caught enough fish. I can start experimenting.
Right.
We on the way out there, we were looking for a cobia, and so I pulled the eel out of the live bait bucket and cut him in half, and then used his tail for a strip bait, and that's what I caught
Right.
my biggest. That's what I caught my biggest flounder on, and several others, and I was actually shocked. It was hilarious, and
It
it
was
actually
cracking
worked
me
really
up.
well.
It
It worked
did.
really well,
You caught
and
several on it. It was a
yeah.
very tough bait. And how did you cut the eel when you put it on?
Oh yeah, I cut it in like I segmented it out, so I put cuts throughout his body so it'd swim better. But
Yeah.
it was just I don't think I even need to do that, because they were so fired up down there that you could literally probably have dropped down a white t-shirt in a form of strip and they would have ate it.
Now you're thinking that
Yep.
takes me back to when Austin and them were throwing water bottles out at Red Drum just because they were so
Exactly.
hungry.
Yep.
But for somebody that's never been out, flounder fishing, what would you say is like one of the steepest learning curves, to get a bite? I've, talked to several folks on Instagram, gotten some messages like, hey, I'm out there, I'm catching sea bass. I really want to catch a flounder, but I just keep striking out. Like what's that big learning curve gap? What's that thing that's probably missing for the average angler that's missing them?
Not moving the bait is a big thing. Like, so these flounders aren't dumb. Like, if you just sit your bait on the bottom and not move it, they're not going to be interested in eating it. You'll just catch sea bass that are more willing to eat a dead bait. Flounders will hardly ever eat something that's dead. So you'll have
Mm,
to move it to imitate something that's alive. Because, like you
got it.
said, they're an ambush predator. They lay on the bottom all day and they wait for something to swim by. They don't just go around on the bottom searching for something dead to eat.
Got it.
So that's a big thing. And another one is just the placement of the bait. Like you want your bait on the bottom 100% all the time, and you want it to keep bouncing off the bottom to get these fish fired up to eat it. If you have a hook that's 13, 14 inches way up the leader, like a sea bass rig, they're not gonna go up there. I mean, they will sometimes, but they're not gonna go all the way up there to get your bait. They'll just sit
You're
there.
right. And I remember when you wanted to switch over and start catching sea bass, you tied a sea bass rig on, which had like 5
Yeah.
dropper loops on it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and you were starting to continue to catch flounder, but they were always hitting the bottom hook.
Yeah, 100%.
Which proves what you were just saying, you know. So
Yeah.
that was a ton of fun, man. I really enjoyed
It
that.
really
And
was.
thank you again for, you know, educating me on some of the things. I felt like once I was starting to get the hang of it, unfortunately the sun was starting to set. We also had to
Yeah.
tough out a pretty serious storm that blew through.
Yeah, it was like a little squall that like it was like a 20-minute blow, but at first like I was like, oh God.
I know, back to the little Mako, you know, it's an open
Oh,
transom. So it's supposed to take water on and then self
yeah.
bail it, but it was just a little unnerving being 35 miles offshore and
being ankle deep in water.
yeah, in the back of your boat. You're like, this is strange. But it was the only thing we could do to try to slow the drift down because the wind was steady 25 with gusts of 35. And all of a sudden it's like 4-foot, you know, white cappers. And we're like, and of course we stayed out there a little later than we probably should have because we were having so much fun. And then we worried everybody on land. It was like 8 o'clock before we hit cell service. Everybody thought we were dead.
Yeah, I came back in the marina and I had literally like 16 missed calls. I'm like, oh my God, they think we're dead. They think we're dead.
Well, obviously you've got, you know, extensive bottom fishing experience, but your specialization and what that boat really does such a great job at is cobia fishing. So talk us through some of the last couple of cobia trips. What's been going on with the cobia bite here in the Lower Chesapeake Bay?
It's been good. It's been tough though. Like these fish are so concentrated on mating right now, and they're just staying close to the bottom. It's been tough. Like, we're still getting our fish. Like yesterday, we took a crew out. We caught 4 cobias, killed 2, and it got so to the point where all the fish were on the bottom. I was like, all right, guys, we're going to pick up and we're going to troll for mackerels and stuff like that. And then picking up like 6 or 7 mackerels and a bluefish on the way home. And the guys were cool with it. I mean, that's plenty of meat. 3 guys, you got 2 cobias and 6 or 7 Spanish mackerel and a bluefish. Like, to be honest with you, I think about it all the time. Like these people, they get all this meat. Do they actually eat it all, or does it sit in their freezer for like a year and then they find it and they just chuck it?
Yeah, that's a tough thing to think about. It's something we talk about often on the show, which is, for lack of better terms, you know, I love like Mike Hosang and Austin Hain and others that you know, Jack Limroth, King Tide Charters will promote, you know, hey, just because you can kill it doesn't mean you need to take it. And
100%.
I think I've been cobia fishing twice. I've harvested you know, 1 cobia each trip, and I think in the past I might have been disappointed, you know, but this year I feel a little different. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I've got all that I could eat fresh right now, and I got plenty of, you know, flounder and
100%,
some salmon and mahi in the freezer.
Dang,
you know, so,
you got it all.
Well, you know, thankfully, Sam Russ Seafood up in Hampton has the supply of Scottish salmon, so that's where I'm gonna have to teach you about some Scottish salmon sashimi one day. See what I did there?
Definitely do.
Some sashimi.
I do. I mean, I do like eating. That's the only way I like eating salmon is just raw.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do not like it cooked, but
yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, cobia fish has been great. It's definitely been a little on the tough side. I wouldn't say it's not. It was not anywhere near what it used to be, and I mean, Omega has a big part of that, and so same with all the hype that's came in with cobia fishing. But I'm not complaining. People can do what they want, and but it's just been tough. But we're getting our fish, and that's the most important part. Is as long as the customers are happy and we got fish for them to take home, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and truthfully, like, even if you go out there for a day and you get to experience fighting 1 cobia, I mean, That is worth the price of admission
Oh,
because it is so much fun. They're so explosive, so powerful. And like
yeah.
you were saying, it's an incredible meat yield. So you've got enough for several meals, or feed your entire
Yeah,
family, or feed everybody at a wedding or a funeral. I mean, it's a lot of freaking fish.
exactly. It is. It's a bunch of fish. Like I would say it's like close to like probably 80% meat yield on the whole fish.
Yeah,
And
and always keep your bellies.
oh yeah, 100%.
Always keep the bellies.
Always keep your bellies. No,
Well,
I was saying, I can't even remember. I'm having brain fart.
that's because it's
Can't
early in the
remember.
morning of a hot
Yeah,
weekend. It's about to
I
come.
think
Which,
I'm
by the
fried.
way, yes, public service announcement. Everybody stay hydrated this weekend. Is going to be so hot. But I am curious. So back to the Omega thing. In your experience, because you're out there every day, you see the boats coming and going. How have you watched the change in the numbers of cobia that you're seeing, as well as like their willingness to eat from early, late May till now? And how do you feel the Omega boats and that ecosystem may or may not impact that?
It's god awful. I mean, me and three other charter captains, we found a big group of bait, and we saw Omega on the horizon. They were coming. We knew they were coming to come get this bait because they had one of the planes up right above us. We had several pods of cobia inside of the bait balls. This was last year, and yeah, we literally watched Omega come and scoop all these bunker up, knowing I knew there had to be close to like 20 to 30 cobias, if not more. I mean, that's what we
Mm-hmm.
could see. I mean,
Right.
you don't know what's underneath of all the bait. So it's like it was kind of heartbreaking watching that because they have this like um pretty much a rail system on that boat to where nothing bigger can go inside of it, but it just gets slammed up against basically a metal mesh. And
Yeah.
sometimes they do survive. We do see a bunch of cobias with like these gnarly scars, and they're like beat the hell. And it's just you can tell that it's from an Omega net and
Mm-hmm.
from that railing system that they have, so that they can't kill bigger fish. But I mean, they end up do, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that. I mean, there's God knows how many fish have died through that process, or like how many fish have been dumped off the side of the boat. Just, I mean, not like can't swim properly, and not because I mean, if you catch a big fish and it's struggling for its life, it doesn't know that it's going to get thrown
Right.
back in the water.
Right.
It's struggling for its whole life, and then as
That
soon
big
as you dump,
adrenaline
yeah,
dump that they
and then
push out.
you dump it in the water without fully reviving the fish. I mean, that fish is dead. It's going to
Yeah.
sink right to the bottom. It's going to be crab food. So, yeah, definitely see the numbers of that go down, and also just the bunker population. We have no bait in the bay. Like it's been crazy. Like I have yet to see like a strong like amount of bunker in the bay since June
So
15th. I've been out there every single day, and I haven't seen a single bunker ball.
yeah, you and
And
I saw it that one day that we, lucked out and caught a fish in the afternoon on the ocean side
yeah,
when the incoming
yeah,
tide pushed some bait balls up. Boom, bang, bang,
yeah,
and then the next day, bait's gone. And
yeah, yeah.
I think
Literally,
there's a ton of there's a ton of input. There's a ton of opinions. I just
yeah.
know that the way that I look at it is like if you go into anywhere else in nature, if you look at insects, there's animals that rely on the insects for food, and then there's animals that rely on those smaller animals for food, and there's an ecosystem and a food chain. But
Oh, 100%.
if somebody came in and eradicated all the insects, what would happen to that next layer of the food chain, and then the next, and
100%.
then the next, and in the ocean, it's like we're taking the foundational layer of food out of the food chain and pretending as though it's not going to have an impact,
Yeah.
and
That's
can't
what I
wrap my
try to
head
tell
around it.
people. Yeah, I tell people all the time, like a bunker, think about like a bee, right?
Mm-hmm.
A honeybee. You eradicate all the bees, what's going to pollinate your food? What's going to pollinate all that stuff? Like,
Right.
how are you going to grow? I mean, you can do it like, you can do it like
Artificially.
yourself artificially. That's the word I'm thinking about. But you can do it artificially, but there's no like some people in the world, they can't rely on artificially. So like same with the
Yeah.
bunker. If you eradicate them, the beginning steps of an ecosystem, it's done.
Right.
Like imagine like a human pyramid, and you drop kick the bottom row,
Mm-hmm.
everything on top crumbles.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
That was a very violent word picture, but I see what you're
yeah,
going with.
yeah. I mean,
But
it's crazy what they're doing though. Like, and their quota is just kind of outrageous. I think it's like 3.5 billion metric tons, not
wow.
million, but billion. So 999 million plus. Like,
That's
it's
crazy
crazy.
to think about. I'm actually Googling it now so that it's let's see here. So the Chesapeake, so that's a total. And then
Yeah,
the specific to, so Virginia is the only one that allows them to fish inside of state lines. That's what's unique
yeah.
about Virginia. And the Chesapeake Bay cap, this is hard to think about, but it's 51,000 metric tons that they're allowed to take, which is 112 million pounds. And I don't even really know how to put that into perspective. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I'm going to say, give me a real world example of what 112 million pounds looks like. It would be about 560 blue whales, 37,000 passenger cars, or roughly the weight of 4 Empire State Buildings.
That is
To put that in
insane.
perspective.
That is
Um,
insane.
or if you're a plane person, 280 fully loaded Boeing 737s.
Holy crap.
So, or if you're or if you're a football person, 2 million NFL footballs at 1 pound each. So, so it gets absurd to think about. But you know, I do want to go back to the Cobia fishing because obviously we're entering sort of peak Cobia season where more people are getting out there. The winds are kind of shifting gentler to the south, makes it accessible for smaller boats like little Makos and stuff. But
Huh.
uh, what are they eating this year? Are they? I feel like, and this is just my anecdotal opinion, I feel like they have been more willing to bite this year than years past. Is that my imagination, or are you noticing the same?
No, I've caught plenty of fish on eels. Like eels have worked magically this year. That and just bucktails, artificial baits. I'm throwing more artificial than anything nowadays, and it's actually a fresh breath of air. It's like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, I don't have to go and catch all this bait at my dock. I can just go buy a couple eels and rig up a couple bucktail rods. And I know I'm okay for the day.
they'll actually eat, which is very
Yeah,
refreshing. It's like, oh, they're behaving like fish. Imagine
yeah,
that.
no kidding. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that these are one of the fastest growing fish in our area, and it's surprising to see how many don't eat. Like, how do you grow so fast and how do you get so big and you don't eat stuff? Like, it just
Yeah,
doesn't make any freaking sense. Now,
they're
the fish that are mating, you pretty much just take videos of those. Just take
yeah.
videos of those.
Forget about it.
Don't even try. Don't
We
even
call that
try.
we call that Cobia sexy time.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
just leave them alone.
Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. Like you don't need to drill a bucktail at their freaking eyeballs. They're not going to eat regardless of how you do it.
Right. Yeah. They're very, very much distracted in the moment. Uh,
I would be too.
hey, so question for you. You mentioned bucktails. Are there any other favorite artificials that you're throwing this year?
I'm actually throwing this nomad shrimp a lot, and it's it's actually a funny looking thing, but it makes sense. A lot of these fish are eating mantis shrimp, so like I'm throwing this big old sumo shrimp. This is what they call it, and it's like 7 inches long, and it actually sinks pretty decently. I use that, and then the 3D glide bait. It mimics a fish, and it looks incredible in the water.
So what was the name of that first bait that you mentioned? I'm looking it up here. So it's a
Nomad sumo shrimp.
sumo shrimp. Okay, there it is. Oh, interesting. So it really looks like a big old shrimp.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will say, I agree with you. I mean, if there's one thing that I would recommend to anybody that has not done this before is whenever you do get lucky enough to catch any fish, flounder, sea bass, but especially cobia, when you're cleaning the fish, take some time and open up the belly and look at what they're eating. Think about where you caught that fish, and there's a lot to be learned there.
Oh yeah, 100%. You'll learn a lot when you open up them fish.
Yeah,
see what they're eating. Try to match the hatch like what the bass guys do.
Yep. And in the bay, I see a lot of manna shrimp. When I catch fish out towards like the CB buoys, I see a lot of blue crabs. And when I catch them offshore, you see a lot of those. Are they called lady crabs or rose crabs? Those spotted, speckled red crabs that are on the bottom, small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're called calico crabs or something like that.
That's it. Calico crabs. Yeah. Well, Captain Andy, it's a pleasure having you on. I know you got to get ready to get out there and go catch some fish for your charter today. But folks,
I'm about to go say what's up to them now.
Heck yeah. If folks want to get booked with you, how do they reach out and book a trip on sashimi?
Just hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, because for the new age people, and any other social media, you go ahead and just hit me up on Sashimi Sport Fishing LLC, and I'll have all my info there. If you don't do social media, you can just reach me at 757-818-7380.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being on the show, and good luck today.
Awesome. Thank you. See you, Luke.
See you, buddy. Folks, that's going to wrap up a really great segment talking with Captain Andy Kim aboard Sashimi Sport Fishing. Y'all stick around for a word from our sponsors. Thanks.
Pure Flat slick lures are tried, true, and guide approved. Slick lures catch big speckled trout, redfish, flounder, and more. You can cast them a mile, and they produce a highly erratic bait fish imitation with a twitching retrieve. The tournament-winning slick has helped many anglers set personal best records. Whether you're fishing the OG slick, the smaller profile slick junior, or the versatile lil slick, one is sure to find that unforgettable thump we're all after. Visit your local tackle retailer or pureflats.com for your favorite color and rigging combination. Go sling some slicks today. You can't catch them on the sofa.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
If you're 21 or older and use nicotine or tobacco, it's time you charge ahead to Black Buffalo, America's only credible smokeless tobacco alternative. Black Buffalo dips just like the real thing, but without the tobacco leaf or stem. Get it now at Wawa, Circle K, Sheetz, Love's, Pilot, Racetrack, and many more that you can see on their store locator at blackbuffalo.com. Black Buffalo Tobacco Alternative is everything you love about dip, nothing you don't. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, to get your free APCO Camo Sunglasses Cleaner Cloth, text the acronym LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get your promo code and be added to our email list so we can send you the new show each week. You guys keep on whacking them and be safe out there.